Hi, this is Doctoress Newtopia. This is Lovolution Village TV. I am recording this at Access Tucson. They have a building that they've been in here for many years. It's on Broadway in downtown Tucson. Well, a couple of weeks ago, there was a letter that was sent to Access Tucson saying that the city council or the city manager recommended that the budget be eliminated from Access Tucson. That means that the city would not continue to fund the station. They also recommended that they sell this building, which has been part of the government, and now they want to sell it. They think that it's worth money now that we have the streetcar and it is near the tracks. So that makes the real estate more valuable. Well, this is really a tragedy for the community that the city council might actually do this. I know that some of the city council members are supportive of Access Tucson, but there are others that have not been supportive. I was in a program at the University of Massachusetts in the School of Education. It was the Future Studies program. And while I was a student there working on a doctorate, the administration decided that it wanted to cut a number of programs. Future Studies was one of those programs. There were two ways of dealing with this crisis that we faced as students with our program facing termination. And one was that we negotiate with the administration, the deans of the School of Education. In fact, they brought a dean in from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro to be the hatchet woman to destroy these programs. Future Studies was not the only program to be eliminated. They also eliminated arts education and public health. Now, you would think those programs should not be eliminated. And of course, they shouldn't be eliminated. And it's just like Access Tucson. Access Tucson is a community asset, and it gives us a voice. I have had so much support here at Access Tucson to learn how to use the cameras, to get my message across. If I had technical difficulty, I come here and someone will help me. It's also a place where people gather, producers can get together and discuss ideas and see if they can work together. It's a wonderful place. It's one of the jewels of Tucson. Now, why would they want to eliminate a jewel of Tucson? Well, when an administration gets more tyrannical, they like less free speech. And as we have seen in the United States, the media starts to consolidate. So there are fewer people that have a voice in the culture. They say that with the internet, that Access Tucson is no longer necessary because you can, with your cell phone, shoot some video and then upload it very easily onto YouTube, and then you have your worldwide audience. But those of us who know video realize that it's not that simple. To have a good production takes a team, and it takes people who have a place to work together. And those are the things that Access Tucson does. I really feel that all of us should contact our city council and demand that Access Tucson be given back its former budget, which is more than what it got last year, and become the community center and allow it to become the community center that it should be, and therefore not to sell this building. It's near downtown, it's accessible to many people, and it's near the bus station, the Ronstadt bus station, and it's where it should be. Well, what happened with future studies? What happened was that there were the more conservative students who started negotiating with the administration. And during that negotiation, they gave us a fraction of what we asked for. We asked for money for several faculty members, and we wanted to maintain our office, and we wanted a budget, and we wanted just supplies. Well, what we got was like one faculty person, and that was really a disaster because they didn't give us enough money to really hire somebody and make it an attractive position. My point is, though, that I've seen how the administration kills programs, and they do this strategically. They start out with one budget year with a cut, and then the next budget cycle it continues to be eliminated until the spirit of the organization is broken. And that is what we are seeing. I don't think that the spirit of Access Tucson is broken at all. But there are producers that want to just negotiate with the city council. Well, at one of the producers' meeting, I said, hey, been here, done this before. We need to just set up some civil disobedience if they decide to sell this building, and sit in and have a party and invite all of our friends who love Access Tucson to join us and have one huge slumber party until our demands are met. Because this is the people's TV, and we should have access to it. And also, the money is coming from the cable companies. And what has happened is that money has been taken over by the city council that determines how to spend it. So why is this city so broke? Why is it so broke? The whole country is broke. The whole world is broke. We are facing species-level crises with the global warming, with the food shortage, with the water shortages. We are on the verge of some major catastrophes. We can see it coming, those of us who are aware, who read science, who listen to visionaries, and we're stuck. We're stuck in a system that just keeps on cutting off our limbs so that we can no longer speak. The tyranny is really something, and it doesn't get any better. Tyrannical thinking just leads to more tyrannical thinking. There has to be some kind of transformation that happens. Well, so I'm thinking about the big picture. How do we transform, the entire planet to make some justice here on this planet, in this part of the galaxy? Because I feel that species that don't honor justice, who don't have the ability to create justice and equality, well, they go extinct. Because that's the way the universe works. It's a just universe. It does love, and it is kind. And if our species can't understand that value system, then it will go extinct. Now you realize that 99.9% of species have gone extinct. Extinction is the rule, not the exception. That's why you really have to be a wise, intelligent, and enlightened species in order to survive. And what did survive, what has survived, are the bacteria. They know how to deal with crises. They start banding together, and they can communicate over long distances. And we are made up of these bacteria. And we certainly have communication technologies at this point that can talk globally within seconds. We can get our message across. Well, let me start to show you some slides here. I've decided to go to Canada this summer to this Democratizing the Economy conference. It's the BIN, and that's Basic Income World Network Congress. And you can go to the website here. So, basic income. How I am seeing us get out of the crisis that we're in is to recognize that everyone's basic human needs need to be met. The whole unequal distribution of wealth causes crime. It causes war. It causes classism. It causes racism. If we gave a decent income to everyone on the planet, then we're starting new. We're starting fresh with an equal playing ground. And that means that people have equal opportunity. And they don't have to struggle into fitting into an economy that is not meant for them. And so that's why we need to transcend beyond the capitalist system. A basic income is more of it's a different system because it recognizes that everyone needs their basic human needs met. And that's just a part of love. You know, let's start loving people, which means let's start feeding everyone nutritious food. No GMOs, we don't want that for the poor. We want organic food. That's a conversion of the way that we eat now. And we can do that by paying people to stay at home, at least for a while, because this is a transition from one civilization type to another civilization type. Because we need to live in a virtuous community, and we're not going to live in that virtuous community as long as one of the main industries in a city like Tucson is Raytheon, which makes parts for nuclear weapons or other weapons of mass destruction that who knows what, you know, because a lot of these things are secretive what kinds of weapons they are producing. And we really don't know all of these weapons that are being experimented with now. So our ecological crisis and the need for ecology, a new green paradigm. This ecology is something I've been talking about for years now on this show, and it's probably the only where you are going to hear about ecology in maybe on community TV in the world. This is how unique this show is and why we need access, so that people with different kinds of visions can broadcast. And Ecology is an ecological city. It works like a container to hold humanity in a way that recycles all the waste, that is completely safe as far as the materials that are used to build the city. Unlike today, and so much of the materials cause cancer, and that's why we have an epidemic of cancer, because so much cancers are the result of some kind of environmental contamination. So, universal basic income and ecology. Now, why I think these two ideas go so well together is because Dr. Paulo Soleri, who came up with the idea of ecology, and he happened to live in central Arizona. This is a part of one of his designs, but you can see at the center, at the bottom of the triangle is automated industries. So industries would be automated in ecology. And when we have automated industry, that liberates the workforce. This is what is happening now. As more and more jobs are becoming automated, there are less and less jobs. More jobs for robots and less jobs for people. And this is the big transition that we're facing, that those jobs are never coming back. Don't think they are. So let's look into the future. How do we redefine work? And what is it to be human? Because maybe for the first time, we can stop acting like machines and start being human. And humans like to be creative, and humans like to touch each other, and humans like to eat together, they like to garden, they like music, they like to dance, and they love art. So all these things we can start doing when we are liberated by the machine. The 21st century looks so dynamic and exciting if we just embrace it. We are not embracing it yet. We're still stuck in 20th century way of thinking, or even further than that, patriarchal way of thinking, or this codependency between males and females that kind of just build nuclear family houses and just retreat into the houses. So these are the things that we need to get over as a species in order to move into the 21st century. And I think it is possible, doable, and not just that, it's essential. If we don't do it, then we are one of the 99.9% of species that don't make it. And then all of the beautiful stars, the galaxies, the moon, these beautiful spheres that we can see in telescopes will never be able to actually go there because we weren't smart enough. And I don't know, smart enough, enlightened. We were not enlightened enough. So that's what I'm focusing my attention on now is like, okay, what's the enlightened woman? How does she relate to men? And so I'm looking at internally in myself, like, what do I need to do to be more of a messenger of light and love and peace and all these things that we need in order to move us that critical step, that evolutionary step in the direction of global peace and justice. So this is the Gaia worldview. So many sages throughout history have talked about this, that we go back to our essence, that we actually get beyond nationalism. We get beyond these divisive religious points of view. And we get beyond skin color or sexism or homophobia so that we can see the planet as a whole being, as this network of interdependent parts, and then we start building the new global civilization from that perspective. And this is when we come from this perspective, then we can build the network of arcologies. And each arcology is going to be different depending on what bioregion they're in, what watershed they use, if it's in the desert or if it's in the forest. And I think that we have to be very clear on where we build arcologies. We need geologists to tell us where are the safest places on the planet to live. Certainly not like on where San Francisco is located on earthquake faults, or for that matter, Charleston, South Carolina is on another fault. So these things, these details, we have to look at very closely, and that will take all of our expertise to get us there. So ultimately, this is a educational revolution because it will take all of our brain power together, looking at the whole perspective to create this whole systems design. And let's start here in Arizona. This is where arcology was first attempted. Let's actually build one. And we need all these various points like I was talking about. So we have excellence and egalitarianism. We have arts and science. We have solar and technology. We have water harvesting. We have co-ops. So the corporations will morph into a workers' cooperatives. And then we have the eros and the play. So that's how I visualize the Arcology Arizona. And why do we need this? Because we need to test out this new model, this new economic system where everyone has their basic income. And once everyone has a basic income, of course, you can have other income or other credits, however the system is going to be designed, that would allow you, maybe a little bit more luxury. But this society is much more focused on relating to each other and good relationships than it is in having material possession. In fact, in an arcology, it's a frugal society. It's a lean culture, which means it isn't materialistic. It's more spiritual, intellectual. It is more into arts and creativity. And when you have those things, you have more fulfillment in one's life. There is so much excitement, but right now we have to save Access Tucson. So I'm asking you to go and contact the City Council and the City Manager and tell them how you appreciate what Access Tucson does. And also that you are for free speech and the revitalization of democracy. We will not do it without places like Access Tucson. Well, I hope that you look at my Facebook, Doctoress Newtopia, and join it. I would love to have you there with me on Facebook, which I do a lot. So thank you very much for being here.